the Laguna Copper-Plate inscription is a remarkable document in Philippine history because it's the first written document. It predates the Pigafetta account, which was recorded following the Ferdinand Magellan voyage to the Philippines. And here's a tracing of the copperplate inscription. A translation of the inscription found that it had the Saka date of 822. So this translates to 900 AD on the calendar that we use. And so this is like at the beginning of the reign of King Balitung of Central Java. So this is just like to place it regionally between like the movements of people, because in the Philippines, a lot of Philippine people came from like the Malay region, and that's reflected in the language and characters used in the inscription. The inscription doesn't have just one language. It has a variety of Old Malay, Old Sanskrit, and Old Tagalog words and characters. And the anthropologists who were studying the document found that this like reflected the movements of people in this Austronesian region, and also like the transfer of ideas and trade throughout these areas. And that's reflected in also the content of the inscription. So when it was translated, it found that it was about the absolving of a man's debt. He was in debt, and so he was a slave to a chief. So the inscription like stops mid-sentence. So there's it's not all the information is there, but from that piece, historians were able to like see a lot about pre-colonial culture of the Philippines. And from it was found that their political structure was based on the chiefs were like really had the highest status, and they were like the leaders of the territory, and they like accumulated the most wealth. And these territories, they were really small, and they were like really close together. And in terms of like the social hierarchy, the chiefs were at the top, and then there was commoners, and on the same plane as the commoners were also former slaves, or the people who paid their way out of their debt. And then below that would be the slaves. This also the inscription also gives a glimpse into the economic aspect of life during the pre-colonial era of the Philippines. And this inscription showed the complex debt systems that were already in place in the Philippines, and also the value of gold in the Philippines.